Kandice, what if?
We only communicated by voice and telepresence.
What if we shut off the email systems?
What if we only had to work a 4-day work week?
What if we could choose which days we took off?
What if our hashtag side hustles were actually supported by our companies?
Oh, what if they actually encourage it?
What if they not only encouraged it, but it was part of an incentivization and reward system for innovation?
Oh my God, what if we just start talking about the future of work?
All right, hurry, let's get on.
Apple. Share price of Apple?
Ooh.
What do you think?
Little bit deflating, little bit, and it really does have to do with innovation.
I mean, I think they've done a great job of getting their own ecosystem to work, keeping people in that ecosystem, but I'm not the Apple fan, and I don't like that sort of being trapped. You know, we have our problems. You, the Apple, me with Android, trying to get files between each other.
It's about the sharing economy. So how do we share even amongst different competitors, different companies, different networks?
Yeah.
That's going to be important as we explore the future of work.
But I think it's very relevant to the future of work was unfortunately the demise of Intel's internal agency.
But as we take a look at where innovation happens, where those great campaigns have been, especially in the history of Intel, we think back to what's the most important campaign that ever happened for that company, a company that I used to work at, Intel Inside.
Yeah.
Nobody can forget that. So we think about that cyclically as companies start to bring design, innovation, user experience teams in-house. And what are you going to lose? And what note should we take from Intel, one of the biggest brands in the world, that maybe innovation hasn't had?
So millennials are all about flexibility. We talked about flexibility in places to work and ways to work, but this is ever more important with millennials, don't you think?
They're different. But
Some good differences though, actually some kind of European.
very much a European mindset, which is the work-life balance is life-work balance.
You think about it.
Exactly. I think they're very much on my sort of mindset.
Yeah, so speaking of millennial mindset, let's talk about fun employment. Do you know what that is?
I have a guess. It's something to do with like the time frame they work and things.
Yeah, so basically they work until they can get an unemployment, because really what motivates them is it's all about travel. They, whatever it is, their side hustle, things to enrich their lives.
Yeah.
And so it's actually more important to them than having sort of career trajectory.
This is a generation that's grown up seeing their fathers and their grandfathers have a job for life, and then suddenly they're made redundant.
Do you think they have a bad rap?
I think they get a terrible rap, I really do.
I have a few items from Jeff Bezos in that manner.
What did Jeff Bezos talk about? Because I mean, he's, apart from the fact he's about to get divorced, I just found out today.
We're not about scandals. The topic at hand is memos. The fact that PowerPoints don't rule meetings at Amazon anymore. You write up a memo, you think about your points, you sell them through in a one sheet. Everybody gets to the meeting informed. And guess what? You actually spend the meeting talking about something instead of looking at a PowerPoint.
Something I seriously agree upon, which is informing people before you go into a meeting. So you get that brain juice going.
So if they do get some information before, it could be good. So this could be a moment in the future of work where technology actually moves backward. That's interesting.
I think, it's more than interesting. I like the idea of, well, you know me, I'm kind of a bit of an analog guy.
Don't put down the analog, because it is where our senses take force. Jeff Bezos item number 2, life balance. It's all about having an integrated life, meaning doing what you love should accommodate for you eating dinner with your kids, you doing your exercise routine, you coming to work. There's no balance. It should all be integrated.
For the future of work, it's super important to be thinking about going outside. In fact, so many times I've been in this kind of environment, and on these walks or journeys, I've been able to come up with what ends up to be the winning solution or the winning design. And it's all something that came into my head just as a result of being somewhere else.
The whole concept of how we work in the future, and I've read a few things about this, is always going to be about now incentives.
Yeah, incentives and environments and sort of that crossover.
So we're in one of the quiet spaces, so we're going to be really quiet than we were before.
But we're in a community spot, and that's what it's all about, is giving kind of this community feel. People don't want to work from home anymore. They want a little bit more of a vibe. They want a place to be, somewhere that's funky, and there's no laundry.
Yeah,
The future of work is all about the crossover of communication, of companies, of thought.
Just one point I like to make out is there's not one PowerPoint deck lying anywhere. I love it.
So that's
There's so many other things becoming really important to everybody who's working in the workforce today. We're expected to be 24/7 available for the office. What happens if you have a sick spouse? What happens if you have a parent who's really having a bad time?
Right, we need to think about how the aging workforce, the aging population are going to affect the future of work.
Do you want to have a workforce that you trust to do the work? And it's all about productivity, not about presence. There are times when you need to be present. There's times when we need to discuss things together. And hello. There are times when we don't, and we do it all by ourselves and nobody knows.
Oh boy, do we.
You are going to have to offer some work from home days. Now, some employers out there are deciding that they're going to give you Fridays, which can also become known as Golf Fridays. Golf Fridays. When you're forced to have a certain work from home day, you kind of start thinking, well, they made me do this day at home, so they're saying I should do my laundry. The best way to keep your employees creative and productive, even when they work from home, is to give them a choice of the days. But they'll actually be working harder, happier, and on their own schedule, and not just doing laundry. You're continuing that perk of a flexible, integrated, life-balanced workplace, and you're going to get the millennials to love you. You're also going to get folks like us, right, Gideon?
You want people to be responsible, start treating them like they're responsible.
Benefits, work from home, flexibility, collaboration tools. What do they have a choice of in terms of those environments within the workplace?
Yeah, I think that's really important. It's not just people have choices, but companies now are starting to have choices as well. I mean, we talk a lot about in-house, and I like to call the opposite out-house, although it's called external agency, and there's a little bit of a joke in that one. Outhausen!
I think that's German for
It's not actually.
innovation.
Ursprung durch Technik. No, I think it's really important that we do actually sort of look. You've got to be flexible in your structures. It's a modern world. Where we are.
It does help to think about what things cost in-house versus out-of-house.
It's not just it is cheaper, but is it more effective? Day-to-day operations done great on an in-house thing. Definitely much more cost-effective. I worked on a production that was 200,000. The agency wanted 1.5 for it. But there again, agencies outside have sometimes really got good ideas.
You have to ask yourself, maybe this is going to cost another 200,000, but if it's going to make a market of 200 million, you better believe it's worth it.
So I think it's really important that you actually start to look at things from that cost perspective.
Right. In fact, thinking about the make versus buy model is always smart to do. I totally agree with that.
And you know, sometimes the ideas are really where you need to bring in the fresh points of view.
And the question for me, though, really, if you're going to go that route, then you've got to make sure you have your structures that can deal with it.
working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. And we're getting life. Then we're taking and no giving. And just lose your mind. But the boss won't seem to let me.
Because, you know, if you're working in-house, you have completely the whole environment under control. You have the whole synergies of people knowing each other. You have a sort of a common practice, a common way of working. And that's great for operations on day-to-day things.
But I would contend that in-house may offer more of a group think mentality, which goes against what innovation needs. So what you get in going out of house is disparate thought, diverging points of view. And that's really where the richness and innovation happens. And we see that time and time again with companies like Samsung. I worked on many exciting projects with Samsung for their innovation arm. And one of the key factors of success was creating a cycle of innovation with outside agencies.
What's now?
Well, what's now? Do your own creativity crash bomb experiment. Find out what's up with your workforce and your design team and your engineering and product teams, and find out what's affecting the way they work.
And my what now is simply start to invest in the most efficient processes that you can. Don't just think about software, start thinking about communication skills, start thinking about how you want people to interact with each other in this network of global workers.
What's next?
What's next?
What's next?
What's next?
What's next?
What's next?
What is next?
I don't know what's next, actually.
You need to take on a creativity crash bomb experiment. I did that with several design firms and found out the keys to making the most creative, productive, and efficient and happy culture around.
Okay, my what next? I mean, I did actually remember it now. My what next is simply start to build your communication structures to be flexible for the new way of working, for more in-house, more out-house, getting that coordinated.
What's your really, really, really dangerous idea if you could do anything you wanted to do?
My dangerous idea is for every company starting tomorrow to say to their workforce, pick your 2 days, go remote for the next month or 2 months. I want to see what happens productivity-wise, happiness-wise, culture-wise, and give a rating scale. All right, what's your dangerous idea?
Okay, my really, really dangerous idea, because I want people to talk to each other, is ban email for 3 days every month and see what happens. That's it. I'm easy.
3 days,
3
no
days.
email.
No emails.
3 days, no text messages.
Only phones, talking to people. That's it.
So, Candice, what's your in the black?
Productivity and innovation may happen faster outside. What's your in the black?
Instant communication isn't always instant dialogue. Right, so much we talked about today. Thank you very, very much for listening. Well, we're just going to talk over each other. We've had enough now of being polite. Had a great time.
So much fun.
Any comments, anything you want to talk about, anything you've got ideas on that you want us to...
The future of work. Anything you have ideas on for the future of work,
Get in touch.
get in touch with us.
Till then, goodbye.
Adios.
Tschüss.
Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Ciao.
谢谢.
Hi, what's your name?
Michelle.
Hey, Michelle. So we're doing the In the Black show. You saw that, right? So what do you think is going to happen in the future of work?
The middle class and the lower class, I would say, like a lot of fast food places are trying to wipe that out. So for, like AI and automatic stuff like that,